Welcome everybody, this is Elizabeth the Dandy Soap Channel, and welcome to the Useful DIY, or Useful Things DIY. I have placed on my table the items I'm going to be using and some of the tools that you will need. The one thing that you'll need to purchase is this screen, or one of the sort, or any kind of filter screen strainer that is this size. You can find those at Dollar Tree and at Dollar General. This particular one came from Dollar General. And then various jars. A pint jar is what I'm going to be favoring. And if you have something like a Tostitos salsa jar or a short glass jar of any sort. Salt box, you can use the square or the round. Some of your adhesive glue such as E6000 or Gorilla Glue. You'll definitely need a screwdriver and a nail and possibly a hammer. And of course your glue gun and paints and paper of various sorts for decorating. So the first thing we want to do is take our pint mason jar lid, and we want to press it down on our screen to basically see how much we need to cut. And I'm going to use my black magic marker to mark it. Now you'll want to leave yourself some extra because this screen is metal, it's wire mesh, and we want it to stay tucked away. So at the midways of the lip and the edge, I'm marking my screen inside there so I know where to cut. Just kind of keep it pressed down. This particular one's a little more domed than most of the screens, but if you buy like a strainer colander mesh screen, you can just press it inside there and bend it to shape it the size that you need, and then we'll just mark it as so. Begin by marking it and cutting it with a sharp pair of scissors and cut out the area that you need. You'll press it into the lid and shape it and use your jar as your guide. You can take it on and off and then trim off the edge, but make sure you don't remove too much because we need to adhere it with the Gorilla Glue so that the wire mesh attaches to the bottom of that lid and still fits very nice on the jar. Remove any of the excess glue that you don't need. Make sure you clean it up and then give it time to dry. Place it back on the jar. Now, using a paint marker to match my decor, I painted the lid of my garlic keeper just to give it a little extra touch. Then with the chalkboard paper, I drew garlic, wrote garlic, and I hot glued it onto my jar. And voila, here we are with our first project. And this is a nice little garlic keeper for you. It'll hold about 3 to 4 bulbs. Now for our second project, we're going to use the pour spouts from out of these salt boxes. And you can use the round or you can use this box. This will be fitting a wide mouth jar, so I'm making this first one to go on a wide mouth jar. And we're going to need a razor knife. This first one's really easy because for a wide mouth mason jar, it fits directly over this. Just simply use your razor knife. Make sure it's locked into place. And then you're going to cut off the top. Begin by trimming off the edge of the cardboard right at the very bend of that cardboard on the circle. You don't want to remove too much of it or it's not going to fit properly. Now once you've got that trimmed up, take your lid and place it in there, fit it for size, and once you see that it's just right, now you can go ahead and begin gluing it. Now the hot glue gun needs to be on the highest setting, and this metal will get hot, so be careful. Get a good smear in there, place the lid, make sure you press it down and make sure the glue has dried and adhered. And you can use your hot glue gun to heat up any places. Now once you do, make sure you remove any excess glue, screw it back down on your jar, and voila, we have our beautiful salt jar. Now, as an extra touch, I will sometimes take and cut off the letters and glue them directly to the lid. And I just use some Elmer's glue. You can use this constantly. I use it all the time. This is one of my favorite stapled items. And I do have many of these lids that I have used from salt boxes. Now, using the square box, if that's what you have, and for a regular size mason jar. And I'm basically going to use this spout and make up the difference. So I want to savor any board that is around the spout itself as much as possible. You could use that for a tag or anything farmhouse related. It'd look really cute. Okay, so we have our spout and we have our lid so that we can determine how big we need this circle cut out. Using a bigger one, you'll have to glue around it to make it bigger, to make the opening bigger if you're wanting for a wide mouth. There you go. Hey everyone, this is Elizabeth on the Dandy Soap DIY channel. Welcome. You have just visited a video that is part of the Useful Things DIY challenge put up by my Daz, Live Handmade, as well as her co-host, Michelle's Cozy Home. Now, when you're viewing my video, thank you so much and welcome. Thank you for viewing my video. I appreciate the thumbs up. Become a subscriber by hitting that bell. When you do, you'll receive a notification. I try to put up at least 2 videos a week, one of my regular venue, as well as doing challenges. Now, you guys, there's a wonderful playlist. If you don't see it on your screen already, there is a link in the description box down below. Click on it. It'll bring up the playlist and visit each and every one of these very, very talented people. Other projects that I use on a daily basis in my home. I'm in North Carolina, and I have used these items for years. Give me a thumbs up if you like them. Please find me on all social media channels. Leave your comments and suggestions in the box down below. Hook me up on Instagram. I would love to have you as part of my DIY community. And in the time being, let's get back to the video. Now in this next part, we want to use our salt box. We've got our top cut off, and these things are thick and very useful. You want a lid maybe from your regular mason jar. We are going to use the piece that we left over from the screen, maybe some of those fancy scissors from scrapbooking. We're going to use some shelf paper and some chalkboard paper. When you're using shelf paper, since this is going to be going against cardboard, roll it down about 1.5 inches and just kind of put you a crease there. And then that way you can roll your item up to it, and that's why you want to have some overlap. Now, you can cut this off if you want to, or you can bend it down inside. It's really up to you, whichever works best for you. If you think it'll look too messy, you might want to cut it off. Step. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. We've got this piece, and this is 4 1/4 diameter, where this is a 3 1/2. So we need to cut some out of this. So basically, there's a real bad ripple right here, and I'm going to select that. And I'm going to be using my needle nose pliers because they also work as wire cutters. Now, being very careful, press in and dent that area. Cut the mesh with your scissors, and then take the needle nose pliers and bend it back and forth. You'll use your hands to shape it to the size you need, and then you'll do the same thing, crimp it, cut the mesh, wiggle it back and forth to remove the difference. Now, I use painter's tape when I seen this together. And then I marked me out some of the chalkboard paper to decorate the side of my container so I can actually write with my chalk markers right here, Seed Saver. And that is exactly what I use it for. Now, you guys, the whole idea of the mesh being on this container is if you gather seeds from tomatoes or your bell peppers or your chives, when you place them inside of this, the cardboard is going to gather up the moisture, so they'll dry real quickly. And then you can take the side of that mesh and rub something like the chives bulb heads against it, and it will shed the seeds for you down into the container. Also, just like with bell peppers, the same way. Now, as you can see, I used some jute twine to tie the mesh onto the container. And then I made a secondary label to go on the back stating exactly what seeds I have and when I gathered them. Then, using some jute twine, place one on each side of your container underneath the previous jute twine and tie it to it. This will tie the mesh down in a cute little bow, and it will look good for cosmetic looks as well. And it kind of keeps that mesh out of the way and from flopping around. When it's untied, the mesh will hang on the back of it. And she turned out just lovely. She's just cute. It's just a cute little container. And I do use this, guys, all the time, regularly. Now for this next DIY, you guys are going to love it, especially the DIYers. I'm using a Tostitos salsa jar, and I use these a lot. You'll need a nail, a screwdriver, and a hammer, scissors, black marker, and we're going to use that shelf paper again. The first thing we want to do is remove all the label. Now you guys, I will give you this. I use ammonia and hot soapy water. It will literally take the adhesive right off. You just let it sit there for just about a minute, and you can really take off this sticky adhesive. Remember to remove all the label you can possibly remove, whether it's paper or the plastic like they put on these jars. And then with the hot soapy water, rub it on there, take a washcloth, and it will take the sticky right off, and you'll have this beautiful clean jar. So it has a smooth surface. It's a really great jar. Now, I did this off camera because it's a loud reaction. I took my hammer and I put me a hole in the center, and then I worked it until a screwdriver could go all the way through that hole cleanly. Now, I took my hammer and hammered down that metal in any sharp pieces. You can follow that with some hot glue if you want to, just to make sure, but if you hammer it down, there will be no shards and no sharp endings. And that's how you're going to get your hole into your jar. You can decorate this lid in your jar any way you like. I thought you guys might enjoy using the shelf paper since it's quicker, more efficient, and definitely faster. And you can decorate it any way you like. This shelf paper, as I said before, you can find this at Walmart. And I will put a affiliate link in the description box below where you can purchase it off of Amazon. On this round circle, it's easier to start out with a square and just peel off that backing, place it on there, go ahead and pierce your hole with your nail, whittle it out with the screwdriver to make sure it covers the inside of the hole, and trim off the difference on the side of the lid. You want to go around it. So I took some buffalo check ribbon and I just glued that to the side with my glue gun, and I just wrote something cute like twine, tie me up on the lid. Now this, guys, is Mod Podge. I am Mod Podging a piece of drape cloth scrap that I had onto the jar for looks, and I got 3 sizes here just to show you that all 3 will fit. And I usually have a very large jute twine ball, so we can easily put that one in there. We can put this one in there, and then we can put this one in here. And so with our current one that we have, our current jute twine, we can put it in the jar. The large, the small, whichever size fits all. it through the hole. And voila, you have your twine jar. And this is just the perfect little tool. I have 4 or 5 of these around my house. And this one I made for the craft room because I don't have one in here in my craft room. But I have them in my tool shed, in my greenhouse, in my shop, in my utility room, in my kitchen, in various places. I have 2 in my kitchen. I have 1 at the back door. So I have several of these, but I needed one for my craft room. Well, as you can see, the ones we get from Dollar Tree. And that is just a little tool that you can have. If you write this in a chalk marker or something of that sort, then you could erase it off and put anything you want. But I did not want to put anything on the top because it would restrict being able to pull the twine out. And that would be working against the whole idea. So that's just a little decoration to make it look cute. The Mod Podge will keep the strings from raveling. So once it dries, it'll be adhered to the jar, and just write something on it, make it look cute. Now, should you have been fortunate enough to get one of these mini fans from the Dollar Tree, this makes an excellent tool in your craft room. It will speed up the drying process of the Mod Podge. And I took the black paint marker, wrote twine, and made some little stitch marks on that little dry cloth piece, and here she is. She is adorable. Guys, I have these things everywhere. And here's our selection. First, we're going to begin with our seed saver, which was project number 3, garlic keeper, project number 1, our twine keeper, project number 4, and then our project number 2 were our pour spouts for our salt and our staple goods. The versatile lids, and you can move them around to different containers for your lentil, your pasta, and anything in between, including instant potatoes. You guys, if you try any of these projects, you know I love for you to tag me on Instagram. I love to share them in my stories on Facebook and tell others here on YouTube. If you're a current subscriber, I love you guys. I look forward to your comments. I want to hear which one of these you're planning on trying, which one's your favorite, or let me know which one you already use. If you have not subscribed, please hit the bell, subscribe, join my channel. I put up new DIY every single week. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And please visit the playlist of these wonderful ladies and my dad's putting up this challenge. Well, as you know, guys, I hate to go, but this is the end of our video. Until the next DIY, have a wonderfully dandly day. Elizabeth, over and out. Bye, guys.